Okay, perfect.
Yay!
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Well, it's good to talk to you.
Same here.
Yes, yes. Um, well, I guess if you're recording this for your site, is there anything you want to lead with before we get to the interview, or?
Okay, so first of all, I use glasses and I don't have my contacts on. So I had to like put my head in to see if it wasn't recorded. But yeah, it is recorded, so we're good.
Um, um, so I guess we'll start off with some background on you. If you sort of want to tell us about your childhood, we'll start there.
Okay, so I am the eldest of three kids. We are two girls and a boy. So I'm like a second mother, second mommy, yeah. I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. Nigeria is a country in West Africa, and it's on the coast. It's on the west, on the coast, like especially Lagos. Actually, it's like there are beaches that are right at the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Um, and so you had mentioned that's sort of a big city, kind of busy. Is it similar to larger cities in America, or?
Yes, it's like New York in that it's very busy. It's like people are always like hopping from bus to bus. There's
Yeah.
traffic.
So
It's
that's the
like
same all the world around.
right, right. So yeah, it's just very lively. So there's always something to do. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then let me see. I'm looking at my notes here. Uh, you had mentioned that when you graduated, you furthered your education at the Gambia.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. And I think you mentioned medical school.
Hmm.
Okay, so tell us about that.
Okay, so I graduated like regular high school, as we call it in the US. Um, and then I went to do something called A levels, which is post high school but pre college. Very weird, but yeah, it's like AP classes, but it's yeah. So I did that in England actually. That's where the accent comes from. And then after that, I've always wanted to be a doctor, but unfortunately, I didn't get into the medical school in England. So
Okay.
I went to Gambia to do a medical school there. But I wanted to, the US provided better schooling opportunity. So I had to leave that program in the Gambia and come to the US and start afresh as a freshman
Okay.
in Jacksonville.
So, so how did you hear about JSU? What made you want to come to America?
Well, we hear what people have to say about it being the land of opportunities from like outside looking in. And it's true because when I was in JSU for the whole 4 years, I only paid school fees for one semester. I was able to get scholarships that would not have been afforded me if I was still in Gambia or in my home country. So it is true that there are opportunities here. And there is a quality in the education that wasn't in my home country, unfortunately. So that's the reason why America seemed appealing to me for education purposes. Um, and it was also to broaden my view, my world view. So yeah, how did I find out about JSU? Was JSU actually has some agents. So this particular agent that sort of recruits students from my country, and somehow I got in touch with one of my relatives that already lives here, and that's how they found me, and I found them, and yeah.
And so, what did you study at JSU? Are you currently a student there?
Well, I'm a grad student there, but I did my undergrad there. I'm currently a grad student at JSU. I studied integrated studies. That sounds very weird. I studied integrated studies, but yeah, the name of the major is integrated studies. Um, it's sort of like a do-it-yourself major.
Okay.
So there's no you are the engineer behind what topics you take, which is really interesting. So I was able to explore a lot of fields, and I did more of my degree in nursing as well as social work. So it's really broad, but yeah.
Okay. And now in grad school, what is it that you're studying?
I am going to, I social work.
Okay.
Social work.
And so, what do you want to do with that?
See, I'm a people person. Like, if I could be everything for everybody, I would. So I think the best major that suits me with that would be social work.
Okay.
So it's crazy because it was just in my last year before I graduated undergrad that I did intro to social work, and I fell in love with the communities. The because we part of the requirement for that semester was to do community service volunteer work for like 30 hours. I just fell in love with it. I kept going even after that was over. Like as it was, even after it was done, the requirement for the class was in, I still kept going to the nursing home to volunteer. So I knew that this was what I loved to do. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do my master's in social work. Yeah, that's how that happened.
Nice. And so, is that something you want to pursue further here in America, or do you plan to go back home, or do you want to go somewhere else?
Right now, further in America.
Okay. Awesome. Let me see. So, I guess moving on a little bit to music, what is your background in music? Where did you get a love for music?
I had the first question, but not the second one. Please say it again.
So, what is your background in music, and then where did you get a love for music?
Okay. Okay. Um, I'll answer the second one first. Where did I get a love for music? That's a tricky question because not my parents. My mom she's good at singing, right? But she doesn't have the passion I do for it. So I wouldn't say I got it from her. And my dad, no, he can't sing to save his life. So so I just think I was born to sing. It was just something that was made in me to do. It's just a passion that I just had. And they helped in that the school it took me to, I had this music teacher that recognized that talent in me when I was young and encouraged me, like this was in elementary school, encouraged me to do. His name is Mr. Anna, I'll never forget him. And he encouraged me to enter competitions, and he started to develop that skill in me. And throughout elementary school and high school, I was able to grow into not just singing but performing arts. I actually did was the lead role in the major musical that my school produced. I don't know if you've heard of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Club. Yes, I was the narrator. Yeah, and it was like a singing musical, so I love to sing and act, and it was like performing, and it was just so much fun for me. So um, yeah, I did that. So that's talking about my background in music. So after elementary and high school, I never really went to study music, but it was always with me as a hobby and as something I just knew I had to do more about it. It wasn't just to sing in the bathroom. That there was more to my music than just as a hobby. So it wasn't until after going to England and that it just suddenly dawned on me that I love music and I love children. I could do something with music for kids. And that's where Concept for Charity came, which is what we'll talk about later.
Yes. Well, that is my next question. So tell me about that.
Right. I had just come back from England doing my weird APA level course, like I described earlier. And I was like, what's going to be the next step? So in the meantime, while I tried to figure out what the next step was, I said I would just spend time volunteering with kids at an orphanage. And so I did that. And the more I spent time with them, the more I fell in love with them. And so I was walking back home one day, and that's when it dawned on me that I could do music for kids. So I do benefit concerts, and the awareness and the donations and support that come from other people go to particular charity involving women and children. So the first year that the first concert started was in 2012, back in my home country, Nigeria, and it was for Bales of Mercy Orphanage.
Okay.
Yes. And after that, I went to Gambia to do my medical school, and I took the concert with me because the music was just has to be with me. So I took it to the Gambia, and I did it for Sinju Orphanage. We did a benefit concert, and whatever donation people gave, we gave it to Sinju Orphanage. And then I came to the U.S. and Hope Women's Services, they used to be called Save a Life. It's in Anniston. and they have a branch in Jacksonville as well. So yeah, I worked with them all through my undergrad years. So whatever concept we did was just about creating awareness for this program, getting funds. Like even as college students, we don't have much money, but we would say the concert is free. Just make sure you come with baby wipes, and people will come with baby wipes, and collect the baby wipes and give the baby wipes to Hope Women's Services. So it was just simple things like that. But yeah.
Great. And now you have an upcoming concert on Zoom. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so because of the COVID, bless the soul of the world, we cannot do it at a venue because we can't do it at a physical venue. And so it just dawned on me that I could still do the concert on Zoom. And so one thing that's unique about our concert is we feature artists that only do their originally composed music. So we don't, so not only is the concert a way to raise money, it's also a platform to bring other artists that have their original music and just to, let that music shine forth and let other people hear their talent and creative energy and creative skills. So, yeah. The concert will be on July 25. That's a Saturday, 5 p.m. GMT. I say GMT because that's more global, but that's 12 p.m. Central Time. That's like Alabama Central Time, and 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
It's hard to keep all the time zones straight.
Have specific questions about the Zoom that I could talk more on? I could talk about who's who and who is going to perform. Actually,
yes,
it's really interesting because there are going to be artists from different parts of the world. So, through my journey, but with the concept that started in Nigeria, I have now this concert would have artists from Nigeria, from the Gambia, from Canada, because we had a concert in Canada last year, from Canada, from Sweden, from France. So it's going to be like a variety, it's going to be really good.
So all those performers will be zooming into the meeting for the concert?
They would have pre-recorded their music and we will just stream it that day.
Okay.
Yes, it's less technical that way.
So how do folks get into this Zoom meeting? And are you accepting donations or how does that work?
Can you see me, my face?
No, it's just your shirt right now. I think the camera's sliding down.
How long has it been like that?
Just a second. Okay.
I know.
All right. I think that's, yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Has it been like that all through? I asked if it had been like that all through.
Oh, no. Just a second.
Okay.
All right. We were at the concert, I believe. So how can folks get into the Zoom concert? And then are you accepting donations or how does that work?
Right. So we're doing a giveaway. Very interesting. Yeah. Normally, because we feel like the people that normally donate, they're also going through financial necessity this time. So how about this time we give away the little we have? But we are still accepting donations. We have a PayPal pool. I don't know if you've heard of those.
Say it one more time.
PayPal, PayPal, right?
PayPal.
Yeah, they have it's like a way of it's like a GoFundMe but through PayPal.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have that where we accept donations. I can how do I say that? Do I just say it?
You can, I guess.
Okay, it's you can do paypal.me /concert for charity. Yeah, paypal.me /concert for charity. You can do that. And then there's also a link that's much longer. It's not even something I can
That to me, and we'll put that in the print version.
Okay.
And is it a recommended donation amount or just whatever?
Whatever you feel like you want to do. Yes.
And then the donations from this show, are they going towards a specific charity?
If people want to donate for this show, we're going to use that into registering. We're going to put that money into raise into registering an initiative as a non-governmental organization.
Okay.
And that costs money to register it as a 501c3. So we're gonna put the money into operating like future concerts, starting first with registering it as a nonprofit in the U.S.
And how important is that designation for your organization to be listed as a nonprofit?
It creates more opportunities. People take us more seriously. It wouldn't just be like a college student anymore. It would be like a legit company, a legit nonprofit organization. And once people can trust that it is legit, it's easier for them to relate with the cause rather than speculate about if it's going to be legit, if my money going to be right place or stuff. It's that they don't have to worry about that anymore. They know that okay, it's registered with the state. It's legally a nonprofit. It's not just what we say anymore. So that's really, really important.
It is, very much so. Looking at my notes, do you play any instruments, or is your instrument your voice?
My major instrument is my voice. That's the one I prefer. But I do play a little bit of piano.
Okay, awesome. And so, I guess did you say you perform originals?
I do.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about how you create an original song.
In many ways. Sometimes I start with a melody. Sometimes it's just, a lot of times it's through a situation I'm going through. And I'm like, when I feel this burden in my heart about something, I feel I have to write this down, because if I'm going through this, somebody else might go through it, and my music can help somebody else through that situation. That's usually the place where most of my songs come from. But in the process of writing, it sometimes starts with a melody and sometimes the lyrics. And at the end of the day, it just come together somehow.
And then, how many songs will you be performing at the concert? And I guess tell me about them if you'd like.
This time, I'll be performing one song, which is unusual because normally I'm usually performing the major performer at the concert, and then other artists just come as like supporting artists. Not because that's how it is; it's just how it ends up being. But this time, I think it's because we have more people, and so we're trying to, and more people participate, more artists participate in this concert. I have limited time. We don't want to bore people. So I would only be able to perform that one song.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is it one of your original pieces?
Yes, it is.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. It's actually part traditional, part English. So
Okay.
it's Ogo, which means glory.
Okay.
And that's my tribal language, Yoruba. So it's talking about glory. God's glory, because I'm a Christian and I love God, like I love Jesus. So that radiates through my music and through just the heart I have for the charity I do. So that song is going to be part traditional and part English. That's the one I'm going to perform.
Okay, awesome. I guess winding down, talking about you personally, what are you passionate about?
People and music. If I want to sum it up in 2 words, that's it. People and music. Right.
Awesome. Let's see here. I have a lightning round of hopefully fun questions. All right. Now, do you have a favorite actor and/or actress?
I think each time it changes. But right now, I'm a Sofia Vergara fan. I just feel like anything that has her in it, I'm gonna watch because she's just entertaining.
Do you have a favorite author and/or book?
Right now, it will be "Who Am I? Why Am I Here?" by Dr. Sunday Adelaja.
Okay. Do you have a favorite movie?
I am a crazy Disney fan. I'm a child at heart, so anything like the original animations, yeah, any of them. Mulan, yeah, I'll say Mulan.
Do you have a favorite kind of music?
I'll say, okay, I'll give you an artist instead, a music artist. His name is Mali Music. It's tricky because it seems like that's a whole genre of his own genre, Mali music, but it's just a person, and his music is just it speaks to situations that we go through daily, and it's just it, and it also has like moral quality in it. It's not just singing for singing or profanity. It's rich music, so I like that.
Do you have a favorite podcast?
Engage JSU. So in JSU we have like a youth group, and we
Yeah.
have a podcast from that with the youth group. So
Okay.
yeah,
And is that available on Apple and Google Play? And
yeah.
okay, awesome. Do you have a favorite television show?
Right now is this show called Blackish.
Okay. Yeah.
It just talks about it enlightens me. What I really like is it enlightens me about what African Americans go through in the U.S. I'm African, but not necessarily African American. So it's really interesting, and it says it in a very funny way. So it's also very entertaining, and I learn a lot. So that's my favorite show, Blackish.
All right. What did you want to be when you grew up?
At first, I wanted to become a doctor, but and I could be because like I have the the intellect for it in like the science field and all that. But now I love music more than I love to be a doctor. That's the truth. So it will be it will be music and social work. Is what I think I will do now. What I'm going to do, yeah.
Do you have words to live by or a motto?
Um, each time I tell myself, okay, so I have ups and downs with my health. That's another story for another day. But so I just tell myself as often as I can that each time I am opportune to be alive, it means that there's something for me to do on this earth. So that should encourage me to get up and just get going. Something that I have to. That's the only reason why I'm here. If not, I wouldn't be here. So and whatever that thing is supposed to impact lives, I should just keep going and just not give up. And that just helps me.
Absolutely. And then finally, do you have any advice? So it could be general life advice, advice for pursuing a passion, however you want to go with it.
Advice. I feel like who am I to give advice? Let's see. Just don't give up. Like whatever it is you're going through, it's gonna help somebody else. Just stick through it. Just push on. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not just a saying; it's true. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else you want to add, either about yourself or concerts for charity, or?
Hmm. I'll say you should please follow me on my on my YouTube actually, which is Tofunmi Olayinka. I guess this will be better in writing because my name is long to spell. So it will better. I'll type it. I'll text that to you so you can put it out. And just support any way you can. And even if that just means subscribing to the YouTube channel and watching the videos, that's good enough.
Awesome. Well, thank you for meeting with me today.
Thank you, Miss Norton. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Bye.